Our message today is entitled Celebrations You Cannot Afford to Miss. Celebrations you cannot afford to miss. Bow your heads with me. Let me talk to my Father, then I'll talk with you. Father in heaven, please let the words of my mouth, the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Amen. My very first statement is significant. It's this. The lifestyle of Jesus is a balanced lifestyle. Take a moment to absorb that. The lifestyle of Jesus is a balanced lifestyle. I intentionally did not, just hold right there because I want them to look. I intentionally did not use the word or the term Christian. I did not say the Christian lifestyle is a balanced lifestyle. And I didn't because many who claim that title of Christian would not be recognized by the early New Testament church. So that's why I said the lifestyle of Jesus is a balanced lifestyle. Welcome. Good to have you. Since the lifestyle of Jesus is a balanced lifestyle, anytime you find yourself veering off to the left or the right and being excessively committed to a single aspect of the faith, it is a sure sign that you are straying from the side of Christ. Because the religion of Christ, the teachings of Christ always points the way to a balanced lifestyle. And the message today on celebrations you cannot afford to miss highlights and encourages, yea, admonishes us to be conscious of a wide range of crucial, critical principles that should be practiced by true followers of Jesus Christ. Celebrations actually is an acrostic. It is an acrostic. Each letter points to a principle I want to share with you. But you know how the Lord speaks to me, and when I go in sometimes with my own ideas. So I said, okay, I would present a message and cover all the letters. Do one message and cover celebrations. That's what I had in mind. And so I started with the letter C. And when I started, I recognized, hey, that covering all this in one setting looks impossible. So I think I will do 2 letters per sermon, and that will take me how long? Tell me, look at it. 6 Sabbaths. So this is a series that would go at least 6 Sabbaths. Because I said, when I started into the C, I would do at least 2 per Sabbath. That will take me 6 weeks. Guess what happened? Today we're only handling C. It's an acrostic, and I could leave it with you after we deal with the letter C to try to understand what the others represent. You could do your homework on that. But keep in mind, we are talking about the lifestyle of Jesus Christ, the religion of Jesus Christ, as a balanced lifestyle. C is for C is for Christ, somebody said. C is for choices. Today we talk about choices. And look at little old me. I'm saying, oh, I could cover that in a few sentences. And so I'm going on to E and maybe L in this sermon. Hey, when God starts, and I'm there, I'm doing as if, do you know what they used to call it? I don't think they do it in school anymore. We used to, when the teacher would read something in front and you would write. What do you call it? Dictation. Sometimes I'm preparing my sermon. It's as if I'm taking dictation. God is speaking, and so I just follow. Okay. Choices. And here my first statement. You always have a choice. I'm pausing because I'm about to ask you a question, so listen carefully. You always have a choice. Here's my next statement. There is no situation you can encounter in life where you would find you don't have a choice. I will make that statement again and then ask you a question. There is no situation you can encounter in life where you would find you don't have a choice. And so if anyone here today is willing to challenge that statement, I'm always willing to learn. I'm asking the present congregation, you out there who are listening online, you can't immediately share in this, but you can think. I am asking for someone to teach the pastor today. Name me a situation in life in which you have absolutely no choice. Somebody said death. And I know somebody would have said that. Did you hear my statement? There is no situation you can encounter in life where you would find you don't have a choice. When do you start to live? When do you actually start to live? When you're born. Okay. So, don't tell me childbirth. Do you understand where I'm going? When you are born, you begin to live. So I'm not talking about before you live. I know life begins in the womb, but we are talking about beginning to live. If you understand my language. Anybody else wants to try? Two more try and I move on with my sermon.
You don't have a choice for your family.
What's that?
You don't have a choice of who your family is.
You don't have a choice of who your family is, but you do have a choice in that situation. Do you understand me? You don't have a choice of who your family is, that is correct, but you still have a choice. Because I am saying there is no situation you can encounter in life where you would find you don't have a choice. So you can't choose your family, but you still have a choice. I will show you.
I need the microphone?
So our bright lady here in front is saying, what about a child? Does a child have a choice? You watch at them, and you bet they have a choice. Don't you know of children who have made choices, even at very young ages? I see them today saying things to their parents that I wouldn't say to my parents at my age.
Say it. Come on with it.
But we are beginning by thinking about the question I asked. You are beginning to recognize that, therefore, the ability to make the right choice becomes, therefore, a major deciding factor in the success or the blighting of your life. The ability to make the right choices, I should say, become, therefore, a major deciding factor in the success or the blighting of your life. One bad choice can darken the color of your entire life. And even then, you have a choice. Because when you make that bad decision and bad choice, you can sit around and mope and live a life of regret because of your bad decision, or you can take charge of your attitude and rise above your mistake, your error. You do have a choice, even when you make a terrible mistake, because you can forever harp back on that bad decision. Or you can use it as an incentive, a motivator to climb to a higher plane in your life as you determine never to make such a rash decision again. That's a choice that can change the trajectory of your life. We serve an awesome God. And I'll tell you why I say we serve an awesome God. I've just saying that your choice can change the trajectory of your life. And I came across a term that I was not familiar before, and I said, we do serve an awesome God. There's a term referred to as trajectory manipulation. Trajectory manipulation. You don't have that up there because that came to me this morning. You know, things all, this 5 o'clock this morning. Trajectory manipulation. Listen to this. The ability to control a projectile's trajectory, path, once it is fired or thrown. Hold on a while. I want you to understand this. Trajectory manipulation is the ability to control the projectile's trajectory path after it is fired or thrown, be it a bullet or a laser beam. What are we talking about? A bullet is fired, and they are learning how to control the trajectory of that bullet after it is fired. And I'm looking of that situation in a spiritual sense, and I'm saying we serve an awesome God who, in spite of the fact that we have launched ourselves into a path that will lead to destruction, we have a God who is able to get into trajectory manipulation and change the trajectory of your life. Even though you are headed down a sure path to destruction, you are propelled out into life. And all of us, listen to me, all of us are flawed from the womb. Did you know that? But you didn't shake your head. So what, you think you are not flawed? We are flawed, every one of us from the womb. Inherited tendencies and genetic confusion. And it seems that that's what you have been given, and nothing can be done. But then God, in his mercy and power, intercepts with some divine trajectory manipulation and directs the speeding bullet. That's why some of you are sitting here in church today. Wait not for God's trajectory manipulation, you would be in a prison somewhere or in a grave somewhere. But praise God for his power. Listen to this. You think sometimes you have no choice? Listen to these words. One ship sails east and another sail west by the self-same winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails and not the gales that tells the way we go. Like the winds of the sea are the waves of time as we journey along through life. 'Tis the set of the soul that determines the goal and not the calm or the strife. It's the set of the soul which will cause you to end up where you end up. Not your problems, not your genetic makeup, not the situation in which you find yourself, not your family. It's the set of your soul that will determine your goal. Bob Phillips said it this way. I'm going to ask you another question. Get ready. He said, to each is given a bag of tools. How many? To who? That means it includes you? Yeah. To each is given what, church? A bag of tools. A shapeless mass. And a book of rules. And each must make ere life is flown a stumbling block or a stepping stone. So how come then, if each of us is given a bag of tools and a book of rules, some people make a mess, and some people leave their footprints in the sands of time? We all receive a bag of tools and a book of rules. I'll tell you why some people make a mess of it. I'm speaking now mostly to the men, because I see men doing this more. They buy a new piece of equipment, and with every new piece of equipment comes in the same packet. What, church? Instructions. Somebody laughing, they know what. And on a regular basis, 99% of the time, men especially, will toss the instructions away and start to set up the equipment using their own wisdom. And it came with a book of rules. I know one man who thought he was a mechanic. So he took down a whole section of his car engine. He's good. And he cleaned it up and so on. And after he was finished putting it back together, he thought, I'm a genius. Because look, I put this engine back up and I have so many spare parts. I have a lot of spare. You've got your bag of tools and you've got your book of rules. It's up to you to choose what you do with your tools and what you do with the book of rules. I don't need to tell you what the average person do with the book of rules. I don't even need to tell you what some of you do with your book of rules. The only time, not in my church, in some other churches, the only time some members touch it is when they come to church and they pick it up to come to church. Are you with me? And it's a book of rules. And you laugh at the guy who tried to put up the equipment and in problems because he didn't check the instructions. But you go through life, and you toss aside the book of rules and you trying to do it your own way. Tell me what you call that. Insanity, thank you. So, just to make sure that we so far on the same page, I want to just pick on some people, but some folk don't like to be picked on, right? If you don't like to be picked on, give me a microphone. If you don't like to be picked on, then just say pass. No problem. I'm not going to put you out of the church because I want you to participate. Well, you hand me a mic. All right, good. Give me one item in your book of tools. You look like a smart lady. You were answering questions, and you give me one item in your book of tools.
In my book of tools? Prayer.
That's a big one. Your book of tools. Yeah, coming to you because you're shaking your head. You agreeing? That was a good answer for her. Give me one item in your book of tools.
Prayer.
But she just said that. You didn't hear that? What is he to you? That's your son. You're not coming to you. You're thinking too hard. God has given you a bag of tools. Yes? Give me one item in your bag of tools.
Pass.
That is not there in your bag of tools. If you know how easy this is, and they're overthinking, that's why. You have an answer for me? What is in your bag of tools?
Church.
What? The church? Okay. What is in your bag of tools, young lady? The Bible. Over here, Linda. Faith. Promises. You're still thinking too. All those are good. But you are thinking far-fetched. Well, it's not far-fetched. They are good, solid. But I want things that are more practical and close by. Because you know what's happening here? That's what's happening in life. You have this bag of tools, and you're saying, oh, wow, what? And your bag of tools, you have the bag of tools, and you're looking around. All right, now I need faith, and I need prayer, and you have your bag of tools. Something in your bag of tools. What is he saying? What? Family. Okay, all right. This is what lengthens the sermon. Let me go back and continue to preach. All right. Your physical strength. Bag of tools. Your eyesight. Your bag of tools. The ability to read. Your bag of tools. Everything you can think about is in your bag of tools. You can speak. You're not dumb. In fact, some of you talk too much. But that's your bag of tools. The ability to speak. Now you can see all that is in your bag of tools. Everything that you could possibly do, some of it you can't even think it's in your bag of tools because you take it for granted. To each is given a bag of tools. What else? What else is he given? What is it? It say, to each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless mass, and a bag of and a book of rules. And each must make ere life is flown a stumbling block or a stepping stone. So for example, to each is given a bag of tools. Okay, so anybody here was born without muscles? Anybody here? Anybody born without muscles? Why are you looking at me as if I'm asking a weird question? Do you have muscles? Yeah. Of course. Of course. That's your bag of tools. But some people don't check the book of rules, so they just leave their muscles thinking their muscles going to take care of itself. And that's why you see some people looking buff and some people looking scrawny and weak because they didn't say, this is my bag of tools that God has given me. I have to use it. Do you understand where I'm going? Yes. We are all given a brain. Your brain, that's in your toolbox. It's the main thing in your toolbox. Some people use it, and some people don't even know they have one. The way they behave, like if they don't know they have one. All right. You always have a choice. That's what we are dealing with today. Listen to me now. Even in the most desperate situations, you have a choice. Even when the situation looks most hopeless, you have a choice. Even if your bag of tools seems to be depleted, you have a choice. As long as your heart is still pumping warm blood throughout your body, as long as the breath of God is in your nostrils and you can think, you have a choice. Now there's a word, a concept that you need to understand if you are to be victorious in this battle called life. Here's the word. It's so simple, some people just ignore it. They say, no, the word is attitude. Attitude. What is attitude? My dictionary, Russ, tells me that it's a set of emotions. What else? Beliefs. Attitude now. A set of emotions, beliefs, and behaviors toward a particular object, person, or thing. That's what an attitude. A set of emotions, feelings, beliefs, things that you believe in, or your understanding, and behaviors, what you do. Attitude is the major factor which affects the behavior of a person. Attitude is the deciding factor. Attitude is the deciding factor as to whether you will be a dismal failure in life or a stunning success. Attitude will eventually determine where you spend eternity. Your attitude. I am going to make a statement. Some of you may be ready to run me out of the church because it's a statement that sounds heretical. And here it is. It is not God who decides where you will spend eternity. When that thought came to me, I trembled. I said, no, let me examine this. Lord, are you the one saying this? This sounds terrible. Lord, please ease me up. I'm talking to Christians. But follow me and you'll see where we are going. It is not God who decides where you will spend eternity. It is not God who decides whether you are a success or a failure in life. And if you're having problem with that thought, just hold on. God is a given. The stability. God does not change, does he? And God has already determined his attitude towards you. That's already determined. He said so in his word. His desire and plan is that he wants you in heaven with him. God has already decided that. In fact, the Bible uses a word that sometimes as Seventh-day Christians we don't like it. He's predestinated us to be saved. It's a done decision. And he will do everything for you to succeed and to make it. Now that you understand that, who determines your future is not God. As radical as that sounds, it's your attitude towards God. It's your attitude towards God that will determine your final destiny. Oh, I wish I had time. Your attitude towards God. Some people believe in God. Oh, right. You want a pat on your back? The Bible says even the devil believes and trembles. So listen, believing in God doesn't change anything in your life, you know. It doesn't change anything for the devil. He'll still end up in hell. And he believes in God more than you. So it's not belief in God. There's some people believe in God, but their belief in God is like he's a Father Christmas, a Santa Claus. They go to him only when they need stuff. They go to him only when they are in trouble. That is not going to save you. It's your relationship with God that is going to save you. Your attitude towards God. There's some people who come to church every Sabbath, they still have a bad attitude towards God. I've seen some people in church as if God owes them something because they return a faithful tithe. He owes them. You're getting this thing wrong. I don't return tithe to be blessed of God. Where the tithe came from then? I return tithe because he has already blessed me. That's the only reason you could return tithe. So don't come being in church and doing everything right, trying to, and then behave as if God owes us nothing. We have already messed up. We have already messed up enough to guarantee or place in hell 100 times over. It always makes me smile when some people have been sinning without a thought of God for their entire lives, and then they came and they get baptized and they start living right, and then in 1 year they think that they deserve heaven. They deserve heaven because they've been living right, in quotes, living right for 1 year. It's your attitude towards God Let's look at this thing a little deeper. Sometimes I beg off from God because I said, Lord, people don't need all this stuff. Anyhow, look at it. There are three components of attitude. One, get this, because I'm saying attitude means everything. It's your attitude towards God is going to save you. Your attitude towards people, your attitude is going to make you a person that can get along with folks. Your attitude towards your job. Some people have a wrong attitude towards work and job. They go to work. The only reason they work is to get money. And if they have enough money, they will sit in front of the television whole day and not move. That's a wrong attitude. Suppose I had that attitude for my job.
Shame.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm only here to get my salary. You see it, you know. You feel your boss doesn't see it. The clock watcher, your attitude towards work. If it's 4 o'clock break of time, man, if you're in the middle of plugging in a machine, you drop the wire right there and you go home. Because it's 4 o'clock. And you think nobody knows that attitude. I'm saying your attitude towards everything is what makes the difference in your life. So let's understand attitude. 3 components. Affective component. The affective component. That's no big concept. It means part of what forms your attitude is your feelings and your emotions. Some people are big on that. That's all they think about. That's what controls their lives, their feelings and their emotions. Right? But there's a second component, behavioral component. Because your feelings and your emotions influence how we act. Ladies and gentlemen, your feelings and your emotions influence how we act. You have to take that into consideration. And the third component is the cognitive component. Your beliefs, your knowledge, your wisdom, and the fact that you have the ability to choose. Now, watch it now. It's the third component that makes you different from the brute creation.
Yes.
If you keep acting or living your life on the level of feelings, you are living on the level of the brute creation. The only thing that makes us different from a pig or a horse is the ability to think and exercise choice. No matter what happens to me in life, I can choose my response. Could I say that again? That's big. If you really absorb that, no matter what happens to me in life, I can choose my response. Okay. Here's where it begins. You sow a thought, and you reap a what? Idea? Not reaction yet. Something comes before reaction. That's a good answer. But you sow a thought, you think in a certain way, and it creates what? Not a decision yet. Not a belief. Not a belief yet. No. You sow a thought, and it leads to a what? Well, that's close. Attitude. Think about it. Think about it. A thought comes to mind, and the feelings and so on leads to an attitude. You sow a thought, you reap an attitude. You sow an attitude, you reap a what? So you have this attitude, what it causes you to do? Act in a certain way. You sow a thought, you reap an attitude. You sow an attitude, you reap an action. You sow an action, you reap a... And that reaction is from outside. You're dealing with yourself. Yes? A habit. You sow a habit, you reap a what? A character. When you sow a habit, you reap a character. When you sow a character, and you reap what? A destiny. Hey, I don't like to keep you long, but watch that. Watch that. Where it all starts, not choice yet. Where it all starts, a thought. We fight up as Christians to live for God, and we're looking at our habits. You're late. You can't change your habits. We act in certain ways, and we try to change how we act. You're late. If you could only grasp this, it would be worth being in church today. It all starts with a thought. Just that, a thought. And if you continue thinking that way, it leads to an attitude. And that attitude leads to an action. And the action leads to a habit. And boy, before you know it, a character is formed. Okay. If I was charging you for that, I will charge each one of you for this today $1,000 at least, and that would be cheap. We read the Bible and we struggle because there are some basics that we do not understand. And God has shown me this. It starts with a thought. It starts with a thought. You can change your life by how you think, but that's a big thing. Let's break it down. Young man, how old are you? 13. I'm asking you this question. You can't answer it. Oh no, that's. They will say. That's. What do you say? The word I'm trying to get. Not just unfair. That it's. What's the opposite of positive? Negative. That's negative to tell him he can't. But I'm just doing that to not let him be embarrassed because he can't answer. Because a lot of you can't answer it either. But I'm trying with him because sometimes a person with a younger mind comes up with the right answer, and I don't have money on me. I'll give you $50 if you answer this right. Oh, I'm trembling now. Stand up. Okay. We are saying that everything in your life starts with a thought. Yes? Thinking. Here's my question. Answer it as if a child is asking you. What is thinking?
Think of something.
No, you can't say that. He said, like when you think of something. If I ask you what is thinking, you can't use the word thinking in the answer. A thought? But you are telling me thinking is a thought. I will ask you, what is a thought? And then you'll say, a thinking. Let me don't give you a rough time. It's a hard question I ask. Thank you for helping me. Who has the answer? Raise your hand. What is thinking? Because I am saying, hold on, I am saying it all starts with a thought. Thinking. What is thinking? Hold on. I saw. Okay, you have the microphone because I can't see who is hand go up first or so. So you deal with it. I'm listening. What is thinking?
Thinking is
Hold
what
on.
your brain is telling you that it has absorbed over time.
Are you a philosopher?
No?
We not dealing with philosophy. That's an answer that may get full marks in some kind of big exam. But we dealing on thing on a street level. I want you to grasp. I want you to grasp what we are saying here today. And I'm spending time. I may go over a little time. For those, I usually tell folk, don't let me go over a certain time. But I want you to grasp this because trust me, if you grasp this, I tell you, okay, your answer is too highfalutin. I'm not saying it's wrong, but here's how I want you to help me. Answer in a way a child could understand. Yeah? Do as if a child is saying, Mom, Miss, what is thinking? What is thinking? Yes, over here.
So it's how you talk to yourself.
That's it! She got it! She got it! I didn't offer her $50, I offered him $50. Ladies and gentlemen, your whole life, your relationship with God, your work, everything, your family, your marriage, everything is predicated on how you think. What is it? How you talk to yourself. Now I'm going to ask, when you sit in front, you get picked on. Now I'm going to ask you a question you could answer. So I ain't offering no $50. Here's the question. How often do you talk to yourself? All the time. You talk to yourself all the time. Every waking moment, you are talking to yourself. Some folks used to think you're going down the road, if you see somebody talking to themselves, they're mad. It's if you don't talk to yourself, you're mad. You talk to yourself all the time. Here's the problem we have as human beings. The average person speaks negatively to themselves constantly without even knowing. You are not aware of it. You are not aware of it. I am saying the average person speaks negatively to themselves all the time. And I'll tell you what. Oh my, how much do I have time to share? When you talk to yourself, that is thinking. Every cell in your body is listening. Listen to me. When you talk to yourself, which you do all the time, every cell of your body is listening. The cells of your body can't reason. So when you say something to yourself, and that all your cells are listening, they just carry it out. Do you understand? Sure. Oh, I'm such a fool. All your systems of your body don't reason. They're just listening to what you're saying and carrying it out. So we constantly defeat ourselves by what we keep saying to ourselves, and never, the average person never understands the power of how they talk to themselves. This is not something I just read, I should say, but this is something that I experimented in my own life with. I'm going up the mountain, 40 pounds on my back, 90-degree heat, early in the morning. I'm not talking midday. I'm not stupid. I don't go up on the mountain and have to get rescued. You're in the middle of summer. You're going up in the middle of the day. I'm talking about 5:30 in the morning. And sometimes I said, "Whoa, this is tough." Wrong talking to yourself. You say, "This is tough." Your body say, "Yeah, it's tough." Are you with me?
Preach.
"Oh, I'm tired." You have just given a command to your body without even knowing it. "Oh, I feel terrible today." You have just given a command to your body. "Oh, this relationship, this marriage, this isn't going to work." You set yourself up for failure. So I experiment to myself. I said, when I hear, and I've given you a clue now, I'll ask you later on, but I've given you a clue right now. So when I catch myself saying, oh, this is tough, I catch myself saying that, I said, I have a strong, vibrant heart that is pumping oxygenated blood to every portion of my body. Your body changes. Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Your body responds. Your inner conversation is what runs your life. Young man, if you understand that, you change your life. Your inner conversation is what runs your life. Because what you say to yourself, which is thinking, which you do all the time, the first step in changing your life, you change your thinking, you change your life. All you've got to do is catch yourself saying the negative thing. If you start to take note, you will be amazed and surprised as how often you say negative things to yourself from the time you wake up in the morning sometimes. I'm going off my notes, which will keep you for hours here. Okay, and the fact is, if people pay $1,000, they stay and listen. But when you're getting it free, you feel, oh, I want to go home and eat. All right. So I ask you today, what's the gist of your inner conversation? Negative or positive? We are talking about choices today. Here, once again, you have a choice. Listen to me. You have a choice. Martin Luther said, you cannot keep birds from flying over your head, but you can keep them from building a nest in your hair. So we're not talking about what you can't control. Birds will fly over your head. Well, you definitely have a choice from preventing them from building a nest in your head. And it was Rick Warren took that of Martin Luther and said this, which is a follow-through. You can't keep the devil from suggesting thoughts, but you can choose not to dwell or act on those thoughts. I am sharing with you the secret of success in your life in every aspect that some people never understand. You can't keep the devil from suggesting thoughts, but you have a choice not to dwell or act on them. And I'm coming to something now. And it's at the thought level that the devil wins. I'm saying it's at the thought level the devil wins. We concentrate on correcting or controlling our actions. That's too late. To win at the thought level, you've got to choose to become self-aware. That's what counseling is all about. When people can't deal with problems and they go to a counselor, you feel the counselor have answers? He don't even have answers for his own problems sometimes. But how does a counselor help? Helping the person to discover things about themselves, because you can't change what you are not aware of. So the counselor asks questions and pose questions and help you dig into your own life until you become aware of certain things. And when you become aware of it, you have some control over it. So, if we say thought is the big thing, how you talk to yourself, and you're doing that all the time, and we're talking about choices, you can choose not to dwell on unwholesome thoughts. Hear me? You can choose not to dwell on But here's the thing, the conundrum. If I send you away just saying you can choose not to think of those unwholesome thoughts, it will still get you. And let me tell you why. An unwholesome thought comes to mind, and you say, oh, I shouldn't think that unwholesome thought. But here's the problem. It's impossible not to think of something. Anybody understand what I just said? You're trying an impossibility. It's impossible not to think of something. Quick illustration. That's not in my notes. This is what make you. Should I stop now and do this other part of this sermon? I just asked you so I would have finished it anyhow. Okay, so this guy, a long time ago, went in some back area of Africa where they had precious metals and didn't understand that they had it. So this guy went in and said, if you all give me so much and so much money or whatever they had to share, I will show you how to make gold. So the people say, if we make gold, we would be rich beyond our dreams. If we could make gold, he said, yes, I could show you. So he had a piece of gold in his pocket. So he got out a pot and he asked them to bring different ingredients, right? Bring this and bring that bush and bring that thing and put it on the fire and stir it together, and they're all watching with their eyes open, you know. And while they are watching and he's stirring the pot, he slipped his piece of gold into the pot, and then he strained it, and out came this piece of gold. And they said, wow, wow. Now, if they know he's fooling them, they will kill him. So they said, show us, tell us how to do this again. And they took down the procedure exactly. And he said, if you do that, you will make gold. And they all got ready and excited. And he said, uh-oh, I forgot to tell you something. And it's the most important thing. He said, when you put all the ingredients in and you're stirring that thing, you must never, never think of the red-faced monkey. He said, if that thought comes to you in your mind at all while you're doing the procedure, it will negate it, and you will never be able to make gold. You can never think of the red-faced monkey when you're doing the procedure. You could do that? How do you not think of the red-faced monkey so that you not think of it? So the guys went and they tried. They're still trying up to today. Because no one has ever been able to go through the procedure and not think of what he not supposed to think of. So, here is the answer. You can't not think of a negative thought when it comes to mind. All you can do is to replace it with a positive thought. It sounds so simple, but folk don't understand this. A negative thought placed in your mind by the devil, you can't not think about it. But you could replace the negative thought with a positive one. So if you get up in the morning and it's the wind is blowing and lightning is flashing, thunder and rain is pouring down, and you say, oh, it's a horrible morning, you just give your body a message. So when you realize you're saying it's a horrible morning, you've got to change that to a positive one. Don't try to get that thought out of your mind. You can't. Just replace it. What could you say? It what? You could say that. Mm-hmm. But you have to say something that you really believe.
God loves me.
What does that have to do with the day?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Okay, you can choose what you say, but I would say something like this. Acknowledge. Oh, the rain is falling, but I'm alive. God has woken me up this morning. I am breathing and I'm feeling good. You feel your body changing from the thought, oh, it's a horrible day. Yes? So, in life, here's where you want to know, sometimes when I share this, people say, you're doing as if God is not in this thing that human being. No, understand this. The answer is the replacing of the thought with another. And here's where the word of God comes in. The devil brings nonsense to my mind because I'm looking for some stuff on my iPad, and nonsense comes up you didn't bargain for, and your mind goes up. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Where do I get that from? The Word of God. I come across some difficulty during the day, and the first thought that comes to mind, I can't do this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You meet up with some difficulty. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 29, he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Do you feel weak? Isaiah 40:29. So when you bathe your mind with what did we call this? The book of rules. Some people think it's boring. This is the book of rules to get your life together. When you absorb it and bathe your mind in it, the right thing comes to your mind at the right time. The Spirit brings, He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. You repeat, repeat, repeat. One of my favorites is create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. You repeat, 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 and before you know it, your mental processes are reset. The devil flees. Peace replaces perturbance. Calmness replaces commotion. Confidence replaces confusion. And faith replaces fretfulness. You have exercised your choice to better your life. William James, the 19th century scholar of Harvard University, said, "The greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery that human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives." I wish the young people could get a hold of this. Listen to this, listen to this. By changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. You don't change it from outside inside, it's from inside outside. How you talk to yourself. And the Bible helps. Viktor Frankl, a distinguished psychiatrist and survivor of the shocking cruelty at the hand of the Nazis in one of their concentration camps, said, "The last of the human freedoms is the freedom to do what, church? To choose. You can choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances. No matter what happens to you in life, you can choose your attitude towards that. That's why I've told you about that guy called Nick who was born with no arms and no legs. So at one point he thought of committing suicide. No arms, no legs. Today, he goes around the world giving motivational talks. He travels around the world. He has no legs and no arms. I don't want to lengthen this thing. Okay. So, there is absolutely no situation in which you do not have a choice, because no power on earth can prevent you from choosing your attitude. No power on earth could prevent you from choosing your attitude. You tell yourself, I will succeed. I will live for God.
Yes.
I will stay away from drugs. You tell yourself over and over in your mind until your whole body accepts that message. God is my refuge and strength. You repeat the word of God, and it sinks into your subconscious. But while I quote brilliant human minds, these principles I'm sharing with you are not man-made principles. Scholarly men and women were not the first to share this information with us. The Apostle Paul, under the inspiration of God, speaks in Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. He said there about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed. How? By changing your actions? Or changing your habits? How you talk to yourself. How you talk to yourself. Your life can be transformed if you can renew your mind by changing how you talk to yourself with the help of God. This is not promoting self-help here. Everything we accomplish is powered by the one who gives us breath. Some say you are speaking as if people can change themselves. No! The Word of God says, in Him we live and we move and we have a being. It is He who gives us power to become aware of our self-defeating attitude that is fueled by how we talk to ourselves, the things we tell ourselves. There is something that puzzled me in my young days as a minister. Give me 5 more minutes. There's something that puzzled me in my young days as a minister and a counselor. A couple, this has happened over and over again. A couple would come to me living happily together without marriage. What do you call it? Common law. What's the other word for it? Shacking up. Living happily, the relationship is working for many years, just shacking up and living together. Then they will be introduced to the gospel and understand that they shouldn't be just shacking up, they should get married. And almost immediately, the relationship begins to go sour. That used to puzzle me. It confused me. Because they have met Christ and they have decided to live for Christ and they did the right thing. To me, it should be going even better. And that has happened over and over again in my experience. And I usually will check with the couple. What is causing you to have problems? Nothing has changed in the outward circumstances of the relationship that caused the problems. The guy has the same job. She has the same job. They go through the same routines. Same everything it seemed. But the relationship began to turn sour as soon as they got married. What devil? No devil. Ain't no devil. Sometimes we blame devil for things he ain't responsible for. Then I discovered what it was. It was the signature on that piece of paper that caused the problem. It was the signature on that piece of paper that said they now belonged to each other. And that caused an attitude change in one or both people. That's what caused the problem. The signature on the paper caused them, and you know what caused the attitude? The thought. And what is thought? Thinking to themselves. It changed their self-talk on one or both people. So the attitude change was caused by the change of inner conversation. The woman said to herself, I'm just picking on one or the other, to pick on the man or the woman. Sometimes it's, the woman said to herself, this man now belongs to me. And that caused the problem when they were living happily together without marriage. Hey, out there, I'm not proposing that to prevent that you go and live shacking up. That's not what I'm saying. Just to make everything clear. I'm just showing what caused the problem. She said, this man now belongs to me. Here's an example of a change that self-talk brought that began to sour the relationship. Here's an example. When they were just living together, the husband comes in much later than usual from work. They're not married. The woman says to him, honey, you are so late. You had me wondering where you were. You must be starving. Come, I've prepared some good food. After marriage, the same scenario. Now the wife says, where you, sorry. Out there, I'm just saying what somebody say in my congregation. Where you are come from? She said, where are you coming from this hour? You couldn't call and say that you'd be late? Your food in the pot. Why the difference? The paper changed her inner conversation. When she told herself in her head, he now belongs to me. So, my Christian friends, as we close, most challenges, crises we face in life are caused or made worse by our attitude. Attitude is formed or fueled by our inner conversation, how we talk to ourselves. And we always have a choice here. We do. For some people, whatever happens to them, the first thing I overhear them saying to themselves is, well, it could be worse. That's a good start for a winning attitude. Yeah? Tragedy strikes, something happens, accident, or some misfortune. They say, well, it could be worse. And I'm saying that's a good start for winning attitude. Rather than, why me? Or, I can't take this. You just give your body a command. You can't take it. Let me show you the power of self-talk. I going up the mountain, one guy I meet regularly. We don't know each other by name or anything. He didn't even know my name at that point. One Monday morning, going up the mountain, we pass each other. He said, hey! He said, you inspired me over the weekend. I said, me? How? He said, I like to go fly fishing. He said, and yesterday, I went fly fishing. And where I went was down a gully. You go down a hill until you meet the lake. He said, I did my fishing and thing for many hours. Now I'm coming up the hill. And I have a little trolley on wheels that I pack all my gear in and pull it along. He said, when I'm coming up, a lot of rocks. The place was just rocky. And I'm pulling it, and the thing is snagging and turning over. And he said, I got so angry at one point, I started cussing. Now, you don't know I'm a pastor, eh? He said, I started cussing. This thing, I'm going up the hill. I can't get up. I'm getting frustrated. For some reason, I remembered you. And I said to myself, you know, if that guy could go up that mountain every morning with 40 pounds on his back, that is what he's saying himself. You could pull this thing up this hill. He said, you won't believe how easy that thing got after I said that to myself. He said it kind of became a nice challenge now. He said, I pulled it up the hill. And I said, thank you that I influenced you and motivated you without even knowing it. Well, we know each other by name now. We talk to each other. His inner conversation changed and changed the same task that was giving him problems and frustrating him. Listen to me. Nothing changed about the situation. All that changed was inner conversation. Next year, Next year we celebrate 50 years of living together. I mean marriage.
Work that.
Are you with me?
Yes.
50 years of marriage. And I want to say something I kind of don't want her to hear. I ain't seeing where she is in the congregation. Because I don't want her to take that and use it as advantage now. Why the marriage last 50 years? Easy. I decided from day start, this is my wife, and I'm going to love her until one of us die. I don't matter what happens.
Yes.
That doesn't depend on her being nice. It doesn't depend on her being nice. I don't want to hear that because I want her to continue being nice. It doesn't depend anything about, her acting a certain way. I said that in my head. I'm taking this woman from her mother's house. Are you with me? And taking her. I am going to do whatever I could to make her happy for the rest of her life.
Yes. My Lord.
It doesn't matter what you do. I'm going to love you.
Yes.
How is the marriage not going to work? Is she always like an angel? No. But am I always like an angel? No. I say, you feel I am going to take issues that come up and make it into a problem until your mind starts to say, somebody outside there might love you better, or things might go sweeter, or you start to say that nonsense in your head. Yeah? Yeah, nonsense come. I said, no, them outside worse. They might have a pretty face. Right? And certain things going for them. But you go and think it's going to be all same problem you face. So, you aren't married yet. When you get married, that person, you make them your life partner for life. You can make that decision. Of course, I can't hold her with chain. The day, let's say, she's not going to do that because she's too sweet to do that. But let's say, she say, after a while, you kind of getting old and
Slow. Stiff.
you're not as young as you used to be or whatever, and she decides to leave. I'm going to still love her.
That's right.
I'm going to still love her. And if she goes with someone else, I'm going to tell him straight, you better take care of her, or else you have me to deal with. That's how I'll handle that. Do you understand? Because you can love her all you want, but, oh my word, where am I going with this? I'm going off my sermon. You can love all you want, but the other person is still a person. They can say they don't want your love and go their way. You could still... In other words, what I'm telling you is that it doesn't matter what she does, I will make sure she is okay for the rest of my life. I will make sure she's all right for the rest of her life. And I've seen people who live that way. Let me get back to my notes, lest I keep you till tomorrow. So today we focused on choices. And I was trying to do this in one sermon. The whole What was the word? I was trying to do the whole celebrations. And I keeping you too long on just the C. You better come next week for the E. Okay. Joshua 24:15. Joshua 24:15. The best choice you can ever make. And if it seem evil to you, serve the Lord. To serve the Lord. Choose. What's the word? Choose you this day whom you will serve. Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land we dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's Joshua. That's decision. Look, I have chosen to serve God. I've chosen to obey Him. I'm not always perfect in that, but I will never turn back or give up. God is perfecting my living for Him. I'm getting better every day. That's my inner conversation. Stop procrastinating. Stop putting it off for tomorrow and decide to serve God and not your crazy, selfish self. And when I say crazy, selfish self, I'm referring to all of us. Choose to serve God because of what He has done for us and because of who He is. Go over. This is a sermon to go over. And those points that you need to begin to practice. Go home and go throughout this week and become aware of what you are talking to yourself. You're in a conversation. It will surprise you and change that, and all of a sudden, your life will begin to change. You have a choice over your attitude because you have a choice over your inner conversation. Our heads are bowed, our eyes are closed. Oh God, our Father, thank you for making these principles plain, reminding us that you have made us special human beings with the power to choose. Nothing on earth can take that away from us. No matter the situation, we can choose our attitude, and the attitude would give us the zest for life.